Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. You know, I'm really starting to get sick of saying that. Guys, if you can come up with any better intro for me, just put it in the comments, yeah? Just some variety is nice, you know? It's getting ridiculous. Anyway, this is an Autogen battle. Yay! So, as you can see, foot squires, spearmen at arms, men at arms with shields, men at arms without shields, and men at arms with shields. So, mixed front line. I've weighted it on one side because, frankly, I'm against the high elves, and if they've got a strong back line, I like to be able to hit one side harder than the rest. That way you can, you know, crack into that chestnut easier. If you go symmetrically, then they tend to have a better handle on things. So, if you just weight one side, you can kind of break into that front line in one corner and then the floodgates open and you can overwhelm them. That's how I tend to try and play it. So, first squires on the side. Also have a lord on foot, because everyone knows that Bretonnian lords are famous for being on foot. And a Grail Reliquary. The Grail Reliquary is nice, it'll, you know, make immune to psychology, that's kind of nice. Also, a load of peasant bone with pox arrows. This is actually really good, this is great for me, really cost-effective archers. And what with all the, you know, crazy, heavy, like, cavalry that people expect, they don't tend to go with cheap archers, because they're just not effective enough against cavalry. So having a load of cheap bowmen, they can do really well against things like Sisters of Avalon from a safe distance. And if they don't go that way, and they go with a load of cavalry themselves, then you've got some alright armor piercing, you know, it adds up between 3 units, and the poison will really help, so you can really help engagements with these guys. So I really like them. Also, because of Autogen, boom! Blessed Field Trebuchet. Wouldn't think to bring that, but actually, it kind of makes sense against the High Elves, because there's a lot of stuff with physical resist that's very elite. Things like Phoenix Guard, very common against Bretonnia, so having magic damage and armor piercing on a unit, this could potentially do quite a lot of damage. So I wouldn't think to bring it, but actually, it kind of makes sense on paper. Also have the Damsel of Beasts, so obviously every single spell, because it's Autogen, and I edit nothing, which I may in future, but for now, no, I'm not editing a thing. So it's all the things, and all the spells, and no items. It doesn't give items to anyone. So, here I have some Knights Errant. I have the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, which is awesome. This is for you, Jeff. Yeah, one of my subscribers, Jeff, he's always telling me whenever I play Bretonnia, why haven't you got the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis? Well, Autogen's done it, so thank Autogen. Otherwise, you know, I'm rubbish. Yeah, I was never going to bring them. I'm sorry. I love them, but for some reason I never bring them. But Autogen's made sure I have, and we'll see them in action. They're great. So yeah, Knights Errant, but they have a Rampage mechanic, which is awesome. Not Rampage, Frenzy. So also, I have some Questing Knights, so great armor piercing, really good against things like Swordmasters, which we'll actually see. Also, Pegasus Knights. Again, probably wouldn't bother bringing them in this matchup, but actually, if they had a Giant or something, and get on top of that, you can do a lot of damage. Giants on, not giants, dragons, that's the one. Dragons in the air, if you're fighting them with other, you know, big swarms of flying things, they don't actually hold up very well. Even just harpies, you can be really cost-effective with against dragons. They just aren't great at dealing with a load of stuff in the air. It's really interesting. So, yeah, you can kind of bog them down, you know, out of the way. But anyway, so Pegasus Knights, they'll be fun. You know, they can get nice rear charges when my Questing Knights take a charge from cavalry and things like that. Also, 2 mounted yeomen over here, and another unit over here. So plenty of mounted yeomen. Now, my opponent, you've probably seen these guys already. There's Illyrian Reavers in every corner. I didn't think to look over there for some reason, so I did not notice them at all. Whoops. So here, you can see Everqueen's Court Guard, so Sisters of Avalon, but Regiment of Renown, also some more Sisters of Avalon, so really expecting Grail Knights from me, I think, which normally would be a great choice, but I don't have them, so yeah. Hopefully, my Peasant Bowman can make short work of them, and I can wrap up this stuff nice and quickly. So he's got some white lines of trace, pretty good, they've got some good armor, so it's only really foot squires that can sort of, you know, really be able to penetrate that armor easily in a frontline engagement, but obviously they have armor piercing themselves, and they're very good melee defense and attack. They're going to do pretty well. They don't have the anti-infantry bonus, but white lines are pretty sturdy in this matchup, honestly. So he has some spearmen on the sides, and he has 3 Loathen Seaguard. I think Loathen Seaguard, yeah, they got spears, but honestly, I think it's better off with more spearmen, just to have more stuff to protect the, you know, Sisters of Avalon that are going to get all the killing done. Because that extra archer fire, I don't think it's going to go very far, because I'm going to wrap these guys up very quickly. I'm just going to get into combat with them, because they're not very good in melee. They just don't get much killing done, even against quite cheap cavalry. Even with that anti-large bonus, they just don't seem to get a lot of work done. They're just not as cost-effective as people give them credit for, I think. As soon as you get them in melee, I mean, they're better archers than anything else, but archers are better archers than Loathen Seaguard, so bring archers. You know? Anyway. Here you can see Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. So this is pretty nice. It'll help, you know, get rid of artillery, it can put constant damage on flying units or cavalry. It's got some good uses in this matchup, and of course he has Swordmaster Hoeth, which have already taken some hits from my Blessed Field Trebuchet, so speeding things up. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm getting some hits. You know, killed 5 of them. Nothing major. But he is trying to run away from me. He keeps turning. Ooh, there goes a few more. So, down to 67. Nice. So anyway, Sis of Avalon, they're shooting at very cheap units I don't care about. He's trying to shoot my Lord, but my Lord on foot is a very hard target to hit amongst all these shields. And now, all of these guys are going to be shooting in, and look at the damage and the Flock of Doom and all this stuff. Mounted Yeomen just charge into these Loathed Seaguard, and you see they are losing substantial health just from Mounted Yeomen. Over here, same thing's happening, but all these guys have Fast Protection and Earthblood. So, yeah, oh, he has a Lariel. I didn't even mention. He's got a Lariel, obviously, because it's a Lariel. I barely need to even mention it. Anyway, got a nice charge in here, almost wiped out the White Lines, defends the Fleur-de-Lis, doing a fine job. More just random charges. Yeah, they're braced, but whatever, I'm keeping them busy so they can't join the rest of the fight. My Pegasus Knights have dealt with the last of the Everqueen's Court Guard, and now they're going to move in and try and stop this bolt thrower from attacking. And yeah, the Loathed Seaguard, I've actually been attacking them with the Blessed Field Trebuchet a bit, and it's doing pretty well. So here, big old heal. So yeah, these Mounted Yeomen aren't doing great against these Loathed Seaguard, but these guys have had the Star of Avalon and Earthblood and Fast Protection. These ones didn't, and they're on half health now, and now I get to shoot them in the back a bit. So, it's a bit ridiculous. So, Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis having a wonderful time, keeping the Sis of Avalon busy, and my Questing Knights charged over here. I have used the Curse of Anra here on all 4 of these units, so they're all pretty impaired right now, and my Peasant Bowmen are getting great shots into the back of these Loathed Seaguard. So, another Flock of Doom on this stuff. Got some units that are routed, but they're coming back. They're just Mounted Yeomen. Over here, though, the Illyrian Reavers are killing everything. Damn. Anyway, Defends the Fleur-de-Lis I'm pulling out, and they're going to try and bail these guys out. So, Foot Squires having a wonderful time, just killing Spearmen, nice and easy. Here, my Questing Knights have charged into the Loathed Seaguard, charging them from the other side, trying to shut them down, and I'm shutting these guys down too. Unfortunately, I didn't realise that I had taken everything off the Sisters of Avalon, so I'm going to have my Haggard 8 sorry, not Questing Knights, Pegasus Knights attack Sis of Avalon. So back here, he's actually being very clever with his Illyrian Reavers. Every time I go to attack one, he runs that away and charges the other one in, so he's just yo-yoing between them. Yeah, I'm not giving it as much attention as I'd like, honestly. I should have been able to wrap this up better, but I was busy cycle charging and doing other nonsense here, and I thought, the Peasant Archers, they've done their job. It's keeping the Illyrian Reavers out of this fight, and if he does want to fight me, my Defense of the Fleur-de-Lis can deal with him, so it's fine. Whatever, I'll deal with it. So here, Sis of Avalon getting pretty beaten up. Alariel is fine for the moment, but another Flock of Doom from me, actually. Which, was a bit of a whiff. I was hoping to hit all 3. That was a bit of a mishap. But anyway, deal with the Loathed Seaguard. These Loathed Seaguard are getting dealt with. Those Sis of Avalon are getting dealt with. Just these Knights Errant are able to deal with the Everqueen's Court Guard and the Swordmasters back here, given how damaged they both are. And still got a load of Mounted Yeomen running around being an absolute nightmare. My Damsel Beast did get involved in melee, did take some damage, but that's fine. I've still got some fairly healthy Foot Squires. They're going to be able to hold this stuff off for a while. Another Earthblood, though. This is basically his last pocket of resistance. Everything else back here is just going to get swarmed and overwhelmed and break almost immediately. Over here, though, he's still just running up and down. I did catch out the Illyrian Reavers for a while, though, so I have done some good damage to these guys, but they've managed to wipe out all my archers, and those archers are really handy. I really would have loved to keep those. So now he's getting some cycle charging going on, so Foot Squires suffering a bit. Over here, though, we just sort of... I've got Questing Knights, actually, but anyway. I didn't want this stuff getting taken out, so I actually chased this unit of Illyrian Reavers with my defenders, but I probably should have chased the other one. Should have come to support here and just let these guys run around, but I guess I just wanted to make sure none of this could come back into the fight, so they're pretty busy trying to deal with them. So, Star of Avalon just doing mad healing. My Lord is trying to fight Alariel, I believe. No, he's over there. He's coming in now, though. So he's running in. Oh, that was weird. Definitely saw a poison arrow flying in there. Maybe it's that unit got one shot off before the Illyrian Reavers dealt with him. So Flock of Doom, great value there. Hits basically his whole army. Well, what's remaining at least. And yeah, still got my Knights Errant there. Mounted Yeomen are suffering, obviously. Sis of Avalon are back, which is annoying. I will actually charge them with the Mounted Yeomen in a second, I believe. But they don't get a lot done. There's only 7 of them? Is that 7? I think it's 7. Hard to tell. Healing cap line is in the way. Anyway, so they're going to break pretty soon. So over here, my foot squires are really starting to suffer. I use Wisden's Wild Form on them to put their damage up because, well, they're pretty good at damaging. And, yeah, that extra armor will be nice, but maybe I should have put it on the Lord. But, I don't know. His melee attack's not great. He probably wasn't going to hit the Alarielle much. I just want to basically remove everything else before I deal with her. She's got to get near a healing cap by now, though, surely. Anyway, nice rear charges now that I've freed up all of my infantry. Sorry, cavalry. And, yeah, now I can start just pounding these units, just cycle charging. So, plenty of cav left. Defense of the Fleur-de-Lis have been doing a wonderful job. Over here, Men-at-Arms coming back. He's got some spearmen, but most of his useful units have shattered. So he's got one unit of Illyrian Reavers trying to come back, but I don't like his chances. So another cycle charge. Going to be charging the Mounted Yeomen back in. And I don't foresee any of these people being able to return. None of these elves are going to be able to come back at this point, because I've got just way more cavalry than he does now. So I will actually send all my cavalry over here to deal with these Illyrian Reavers, but he calls it a day before they reach. So yeah, Pyrrhic victory. Another Autogen win. Yay! But actually, this build kind of works great. They expect a load of elite cavalry, right? You expect most of your funds to be wrapped up in Grail Knights. So you expect a smaller army or cheaper infantry. So this actually kind of worked really well, weirdly. Now, you save a lot of money, you know, just having a standard lord, but he's really hard to hit. You know, if he's just in some cheap pile of men-at-arms, so he's going to hold out for a long time. The damsel, I mean, yeah, you don't really want all the spells, and maybe, I don't know, heavens or life would have been better, but whatever, beasts will do. Yeah, you just don't really expect a ton of cheap cav. It's not what you expect. I mean, some of it is great, you know, questing knights, they're good cavalry, but they're still not Grail Knights, right? But if I just had Grail Knights, all of these guys would have probably been a couple of units, you know, just a couple of units, and that would have been it, really. I would have missed out on just being able to swarm, and the fact that I was able to wrap up every single archer with something fairly cheap, and I was able to get the things that I knew could get some killing done onto the correct units. I mean, 149 kills for the questing knight is absurd, because they were fighting white lions and swordmasters for most of that. And they did great, 149 kills, because they were kind of unaccosted, because everything was pinned. Nothing that he had that were great cavalry destroyers could really take advantage. I mean, 40 kills for the Sisters of Avalon that lived the longest, only 10 for the Everqueen's Court Guards. I mean, that's horrific. Fair enough, is 10, you know, Grail Knights, then you might think, oh, well, they did some good damage to the Grail Knight, but no, they were just shut down straight away, as well as the Pegasus Knights. Like, no one expects Pegasus Knights, so having these guys suddenly just jump in from the sky, what can you do to stop them? So, yeah, it just hit them on all sides, and this actually worked out great. So, yeah, Autogen for the win. Kind of a weird one, but this build actually kind of makes sense. So, I guess that's that. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.